Our first project was extremely successful. Ivor Elementary had been the lowest performing school in the district. And by the time, 3 years later, we had won the governor's improvement award for that school and really closed the achievement gap and brought the scores quite high.
I would say that my first introduction, Patty came in with elementary experience into a secondary, and everybody kind of went, whoa, what's going on? And she really came in with a vision. Actually came in and looked and saw what was happening, waited, looked at the data, kind of got a feel for the school and said, you know, we really need to have a focus here.
Teachers have a lot on their plates, so we had to really provide them with the reasons why that we need to do these things.
Through Patty working with the other principals in the area and developing the Alameda area literacy plan, it was easier to change mindsets because then we saw proof, because we saw scores change, we saw, you know, the students were learning because of the project.
We saw our scores in this area as flat and stagnant, and it was very disappointing. And Patty came up with this plan about our Alameda area plan that would really focus on reading, and that's something that we hadn't done before.
Being a principal is an incredibly demanding job. So having to figure out how to do something that many people have figured out how to do, giving them a manual on helping them do that, it helps a principal in their day-to-day life. So that was our thinking, is how can a principal pick this up, open it, and know exactly what to do.
Because the teacher professional development was so well handled, and people understood the data, I think, for the first time. You know, we'd always say, you know, these scores are terrible. Okay, the scores are terrible. Here's a vision for how we can change those scores.
One of the things I learned is that it's really important for someone on the principal group, the leadership, is to really step up and be a leader.
I can hear some of the things Patty says all the time. You know, what is our focus? What is our vision? How are we going to monitor for that? I mean, that was huge with this. Here's the education, here's what we're rolling out. Now, as an administrator and as her assistant principals, how did they monitor and make sure that we were still doing what we needed to do and give us the feedback to improve?
From the first time we met her, just such a thoughtful human being who is all about kids and helping teachers become the best that they possibly can. And I think Louisa's just done such a tremendous job around the country, really pushing that envelope.
She understands that there is a science to teaching reading, and wants to make sure that people who are responsible for teaching reading understand what that science is. Reading is every child's future, and it opens the doors for so many things. And so, you know, in order for students to be successful not only in their education but in their life, they have to be good readers. So that's always the first thing that you want to tackle as a principal, is good reading for kids.
Kids that can read and kids that can write can be successful in all subject areas. This morning when we were talking about that, the high school principal said, yeah, she goes, our teachers are like, this is the highest group we've ever had. Now this is the highest group we've ever had.
Easily, a principal can get overwhelmed with how many things there are to do. And so if you can just pick it up, instead of having to figure out, how do I get the materials that I need? How do I bring the community in? Instead of having to actually figure that out yourself, this gives people an opportunity to say, oh, that makes sense, I can do it that way. So frankly, it's a time saver for principals.
It changed how we taught kids, and it changed, as a result, probably opened up a future to a lot of students.